Are you tired of being put down by sweaty double gunners whilst pushing for the Fates of Fortune ship set? Soon you'll be outplaying even the golden ghosts and skeletons to reap your rewards and make yourself known amongst a sea of thieves. And that's right, in this tale I ran into the famous pirates Serpents and Sotus, and if you've heard of them, you'll know that this was no easy ride. So stay tuned and get ready to take on the sweats. As often tends to be the case in these tales, after walking from the tavern and spotting a giant skull in the sky, I sailed on over, not realising the dangers and stress that I would face on this venture. But what you'll learn from these encounters will prove to aid you in the future, so if this does help, be sure to subscribe to the tavern for more tips amongst the seas. However, back to the tale as we were arriving at the fort. All seemed quiet as there were no ships around whilst I tackled the waves of skeletons. But of course, as I faced up against the Ashen Lord, a galleon headed straight for me, so I did two things. First, dropping the sails and sailing around, taking fire but holding off the board attempts, before being joined by a friend, which is necessary when needing to take them on whilst keeping your ship afloat and fixed up. Before you comment saying, "You have no one to sail with," if this is the case, look no further than my Discord, where people are always looking to sail with others to help out. But as we sailed around, I attempted to board an anchor, seeing what we were dealing with, and one quick double gun later, I was met with a quick trip to the ferry, and a sinking feeling that this may not go our way. Knowing this, I knew we had to make a play on the fort, trying to escape with just the chest of fortune, but once I got on land, I was blundered straight back to the ferry, and I began to doubt it all. How to beat sweaty double gunners when there's 4 of them and there's not many of us. Once again, I shot out to the fort as my helmsman kept our ship out of range from the galleon. However, there was now 2 of them on land, and I had to act fast. The first was taken out with some quick slashes from my sword, before I started playing a game of cat and mouse with the other. Me being the mouse, of course, hiding until I spotted them inspecting a barrel, and as I dashed on over by the skin of my teeth, I managed to take them down. But now the morale boost was in our favour, as the other crewmate arrived back and was quickly dealt with once again. Now we had control of the fort, and they soon turned focus to our ship, and managed to get aboard, killing my crewmate, so I had to get back there before we had sunk, and began repairing and bucketing as quickly as we could, taking out another boarder. However, once we were back in the zone, I tried once more to board them, but it was not yet time as I met the end of a blunderbuss once more. As boards weren't working, I took to one of the towers, and before any cannons could begin firing, Flameheart's minion helped me once again, hitting the galleon with a ball of fire before I began to take down their masts and fire cannons at them, as did my crewmate from the Red Beard. Once they began to look in complete disarray, I finally boarded them, managing to take a couple of them out whilst their backs were turned, before they finally gunned me down, sinking our ship and making us believe that this was all over. But this tale is about beating the sweats, right? So you know it's not over yet. So arriving back, we realised they had not yet completed the fort. So I fired over, attempting to get up into the tower and fire at them again. But I found something much greater. A keg. I jumped off, and as they were so close to the island, I was able to swim right up to them and blow them up, starting carnage on their ship and beginning the fight at a huge advantage, as this also killed a member of their crew. As they were all concentrating now on not sinking and coming one at a time, I was able to sneak up on them and take them out one by one, until I was once again blundered straight into the ferry. But as I was, it appeared that the crew of the galleon had now sunk, and now we had to act fast. Making sure the rest of the crew were taken care of, we got back to firing cannons and slashing Captain Grimm, before finally he was defeated. But the galleon was hot on our heels, so I had to come up with a plan quick. I grabbed the chests and got them on board our ship before my crewmates sailed off against the wind, and knowing that we had gotten away with the treasure, the sweaty double gunning galley had given up, sailed away, and left us to sell our hard-earned prize. As we got back, celebrated with drinks, fireworks and music. But as you know, not all things go that way, and as sweaty as they were, they had no golden curse or blessing. So how would you play it if they did? Sometime after, I was sailing with another as we swam towards another Fort of Fortune. However, as we arrived, a brigantine was being fired at from the island and I could only make out some words. And hoping it was not the serpents, I grabbed onto the ladders of the brig, hoping to avoid detection as I surveyed the area. Climbing up after noticing they were firing back and their masts were down, I quickly jumped on board before being knocked off. However, I was able to finish one of them off attempting to get back on board. But seeing a golden ghost in the waters with me, I tried to swim and maneuver out of the way. And as I turned, seeing someone board the brig, I shot my flintlock and killed, who turned out to be Sotus. I swam over onto the fort, seeing they were facing the Ashen Lord, and knowing I could not face off against the golden ghost, I just tucked on the island, hiding away from all, until realizing they were all fighting amongst themselves, and as our ship had sunk, I was alone and could not risk being sent back to the ferry and losing the chest. Eventually, the brig fired onto the island, taking on the Ashen Lord, and I waited for my moment behind rocks and in bushes. But even when there's a fight in front of you, after hearing an ancient skeleton pop up, I had to quickly take it before returning to my bush for the final push for the chest of fortune. Suddenly, that is when I saw the golden ghost, serpents run straight past me, and I knew I had to channel my inner Sam Fisher as I hid behind fences to stay safe. But as the cover of night fell over us, I could see the ships in the distance fighting again, and I was still on my own, so I made a dash to the skeleton lord, and after only a few strikes, he was down and the fort key was in my hands. Better still, I was able to grab the chest from the vault, leap out of the back and swim away. Far away. Yes, I had my own struggles of fighting off sharks, but this is nothing compared to what I would have faced had I gone head to head with both serpents and Sotus. And soon enough, I had made it to a rock in the distance, where I awaited my pickup before being transported to Sanctuary Outpost to sell my second chest of the day. But if you're looking for some fun fishing on a Fort of Fortune, then watch this tale on screen right after you subscribe and like this tale. Arrgh!